You're scared of what you're feeling, aren't you?
I don't feel anything. Every time I try to move on, he pull me back. Don't care for me anymore.
Hyung Wu, don't try to run away from me.
Minho, don't go.
It's too late. It's always too late with you.
Hyung Wu, we look good together, don't we?
Minho, I love you.
Minho, I love you.
My chest tightened as I stepped inside. Then I saw him. Hyung Wu was lying on the floor, motionless, his wrist bleeding, a fresh, deep cut. My breath caught. I dropped to my knees, grabbing his hand. His skin was burning, feverish. Too hot. My hands trembled as I cupped his face. Hyung, wake up. No response. Behind me, Jisoo clutched my arm, his voice shaking. What do we do? My heart pounded. There was no time to hesitate. We pulled him onto the bed. Jisoo ran to grab the first aid kit, his fingers fumbling as he applied antiseptic and wrapped Hyung Woo's wrist. I pressed my palm to his forehead. He was burning up. We need to take him to the hospital, I said. Turning to Jisoo, we moved to lift Hyung Woo, but his eyes barely cracked open. His fevered gaze locked onto mine for the briefest second. His lips parted, a whisper slipping out. Don't! Take me to the hospital. I stiffened. What? I don't want anyone to see me like this. My jaw clenched. Are you insane? You need a doctor. Hyung Woo exhaled weakly. Please, Jisoo, don't tell mom and dad. Jisoo sobbed, gripping his brother's hand. Hyung, you're burning up. Let's just go to the hospital. Leave me alone, Hyung Woo mumbled. His voice was fragile, tired, so I stayed. I sat beside his bed, watching over him, waiting, but he refused everything. Food, medicine, he just lay there, burning up, staring at nothing. That's when I lost it. Stop acting like a damn child, Hyung Woo. My voice came out harsher than I intended. His tired eyes finally met mine. Minho. His voice was weak, barely holding on. But I didn't stop. You think you're the only one hurting. My hands curled into fists. Jisoo hasn't eaten since yesterday. He's sick with worry about you. But you don't care, do you? Hyung Woo blinked, his eyes filling with tears. Minho. His voice cracked. Don't blame me. I clenched my fists. Then give me a reason not to. Hyung Woo didn't answer, but I saw tears in his eyes. I had no courage to push for more words. So I turned away. Jisoo was watching from the doorway, quiet and exhausted. I forced my voice to steady. Jisoo, wait here. I'll make something for you to eat. I made porridge for Hyung Woo and a bowl of noodles for Jisoo. But Jisoo barely ate. I forced him to get some sleep, making sure he was settled before I carried the tray into Hyung Woo's room. He was still lying in bed, his breathing shallow. I sat on the edge, placing the bowl in front of him. Hyung, eat this. My voice came out softer than I expected. Hyung Woo barely turned his head. I can't. My patience snapped. The bowl slammed onto the bedside table with a sharp clack. What's wrong with you? The words spilled out before I could stop them. You think hurting yourself will fix anything? You think throwing yourself away is the answer? Hyung Woo barely reacted. His eyelids fluttered open, just enough for me to see the hollowness inside. His voice was weak, almost lifeless. Why do you care? My chest ached, but my lips moved before my brain could catch up. Because you're my best friend's brother. Hyung Woo let out a shaky breath. His gaze was heavy when it met mine. Say it. I frowned. Say what? His voice barely rose above a whisper. Minho, please. Say you don't hate me. Silence. I looked away, my jaw clenching. I grabbed the bowl again and pushed it into his hands. Eat first. Take your medicine. Then we'll talk. His face twisted. Minho, I'm sorry. I said nothing. I sat beside him, pressing the warm bowl against his fingers. Eat. Just a little. Hyung Woo hesitated, then took small, slow bites. When he was done, I rummaged through the cupboard, grabbing the medicine he had prescribed himself. Just take it. His eyes flickered to mine before he finally sighed and swallowed the medicine. Slowly, his body relaxed, and within minutes he was asleep. I let out a slow breath. Reaching for his phone, I plugged it into the charger. The moment it powered on, a call came through. The contact name wasn't saved, just 2 black hearts. My stomach twisted as I tapped the screen. 100 missed calls. Who the hell was this? I set the phone down, turning back to Hyung Wu. His forehead was still burning. I reached for a damp cloth and wiped his face gently. Then I stood to leave. But I heard it. "Minho, don't hate me, don't leave me." I froze. His voice was barely audible, but it felt like a scream inside my chest. Without thinking, my fingers curled around his hand. A single tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. I turned slightly, watching his face. Then, before I could stop myself, I leaned in and pressed the faintest kiss to his forehead. I should leave, but I didn't. Instead, I found myself lying beside him on the bed. I wanted to ignore him. I wanted to pretend he didn't affect me. But then why couldn't I stop caring? Morning arrived, and I prepared the breakfast. Ji-soo was still asleep. When I stepped into Hyung Woo's room, I found him awake, though barely. He was lying against the pillows, face pale, eyes unfocused. His fingers hovered over his phone, typing something quickly before setting it down, like he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't. About half an hour later, the doorbell rang. A delivery. I opened the door, and the courier held out a bouquet of red roses. "For Hyung Woo," the guy said, handing them over. I just stared. Roses? For him? I flipped over the tiny card attached, and my stomach twisted at the words. "Get well soon, babe." Babe. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Seriously, I walked straight into Hyung Woo's room. He looked up as I tossed the flowers onto the bed. "Here," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Your lover sent you a gift." "Sweet, huh?" Hyung Woo blinked, then frowned. His fingers trembled as they reached for the bouquet. "You enjoy mocking me, don't you?" he murmured. I scoffed. "I don't. I'm just stating facts." His jaw tensed. His grip on the bouquet tightened until his knuckles went white. For a second, I thought he was going to snap back, throw something at me, tell me to get the hell out. But instead, his voice softened into something raw, something almost desperate. "Can't you stop hating me?" I felt it then, a sharp, unexpected twist in my chest. I tried to shake it off, tried to tell myself it didn't mean anything. But when he looked up at me, his eyes clouded, his lips trembling, I forced out a breath, my voice quieter than before. "Forget what I said that day, Hyung. Why should I hate you?" Hyung Woo let out a quiet, bitter chuckle. "Is that all?" He didn't wait for an answer. Instead, he plucked a single rose from the bouquet and, without hesitation, tore a petal off. The crimson petal fluttered to the floor. Then another, and another. I stood there, frozen as he kept going. The petals scattered across the bed, the sheets, the floor, until nothing remained but the empty stem in his hand. Then, just as suddenly, he tossed it aside and pulled the black blanket over his head. And I heard it, the shaky inhale, the muffled sound of his breathing hitching, a quiet sniffle, then another. I wanted to say something, anything, but I didn't. Instead, I stepped forward and sat down on the edge of the bed, my hand hovering over the blanket before resting on top of it. I didn't pull it away. I just sat there. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then, after what felt like forever, I exhaled sharply and muttered, "So, whose babe are you anyway?" The blanket shifted slightly. No answer. I clicked my tongue, waving the tiny note in the air. "Give me the number. I'll let that person know you're too busy crying under a blanket." There was a tiny shuffle, then a hoarse voice, barely above a whisper. "Shut up, Minho." I smirked despite myself. "Oh, so you are alive." But he didn't pull the blanket down, didn't snap back like he usually would. His voice was weaker this time. "Just leave me alone." My smirk disappeared. "I can't do that." The blanket stilled. He didn't move, didn't say anything, but I knew he'd heard me, so I kept going. "Look, if you want to cry, cry. If you want to be pissed at the world, fine. But don't think for a second that I'm just gonna walk away." My voice softened. "You're not alone, Hyung Woo." Then slowly, hesitantly, the blanket shifted. Then finally his tired, red-rimmed eyes met mine. Before I could stop myself, I reached forward and pulled him into a hug. Then I felt it. The silent cry he refused to voice. the way his fingers curled weakly into my shirt, the warmth of his tears soaking into the fabric. I closed my eyes. I wanted to say it. I love you, Hyung. I wanted to scream it. But instead, I just held him tighter. Because, for now, this was enough. Hyung Woo's trembling body remained pressed against mine, his face buried in my shoulder as silent tears dampened my sweater. I didn't say anything. I just held him tighter, letting him fall apart in the quiet of his room. The door creaked. I looked up to see Jisoo standing there. His eyes widened slightly, but he didn't say a word. Instead, he gave me a small nod, silently telling me to stay. When Hyung Woo's breathing evened out and his body grew heavy with sleep, I gently laid him down and pulled the blanket over him. Downstairs, Jisoo was waiting for me, leaning against the kitchen counter with his arms crossed. "You don't have to explain," he said before I could speak. His voice was quiet, but steady. "I understand." I let out a breath, nodding. "Thanks." Jisoo smiled faintly. "He needs someone like you, Min-ho, even if he won't admit it." Feeling a sense of relief after talking with Jisoo, I decided to head home, already planning to come back tonight. That evening, I came back with some food for dinner. Jisoo was in the kitchen, reheating soup. I walked past him, heading straight for Hyung Woo's room. But before I could knock, I heard it. A voice. Hyung Woo's voice, low, tense, and filled with something I couldn't quite place. "I told you to stop calling me. Why did you send those flowers?" I stepped back, pressing myself against the wall just outside the doorway. The voice on the other end wasn't clear. Hyung Woo let out a quiet breath, almost like a laugh, but it was hollow. "You don't have to worry about me." Silence. His voice dropped even lower. "I'm not yours." My chest tightened. "Please, just let me go." His voice cracked. "I'm tired of this life now." Silence. Then his voice again, broken, desperate. "Kill me at once. It's better than this." Then, suddenly, a crash. I ran inside. Hyung Woo was sitting on the bed, his head in both hands. His phone lay on the floor. The screen cracked. It was still ringing. I saw the name flashing on the screen. Black hearts. "Hyung." I stepped forward cautiously. "It's okay. Just relax." He didn't say anything, just closed his eyes. I picked up the phone and locked it in the cupboard. "No more of this tonight," I said, taking the key. Hyung Woo didn't argue. He just nodded, exhaling shakily. I grabbed his hand and held it for a few minutes until he calmed down. Later, I finally found a moment to talk with Jisoo. I told him everything. About black hearts, the secret calls, and the red roses sign for Babe. Jisoo's expression darkened. He decided to pay more attention to Hyung Woo and his calls. That day, Jisoo and I made a plan to spend a fun night with Hyung Woo to help him escape from the weight of his thoughts. It succeeded. The night passed smoothly. The next morning, Hyung Woo was getting ready for work like nothing had happened. "You should rest," I said. "Your fever just broke." "I don't have time to rest." He slipped on his watch, his voice flat. "The hospital needs me." I scoffed. "The hospital? Or the person who sent you that roses?" His gaze darkened, and his voice turned cold. "Min-ho, give me the key. I need my phone." I held the key up between my fingers, staring at him. "No, you promised me you'd rest." "I've changed my mind. Give me the key." His voice was cold. I shook my head. "No." He exhaled, the sound laced with frustration. "Stop being childish." I let out a bitter laugh. "So, me trying to protect you is just a joke to you? Just some pathetic act you can brush off?" His brows furrowed slightly. "Why do you care about me?" "Because Jisoo's brother is my brother too." I lied. Hyung Woo's eyes locked onto mine. "I already have a brother. I don't need another one from you." It hit harder than it should have. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Then what the hell do you expect from me?" He didn't answer. The frustration, the anger, the confusion. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I yanked the key from my pocket and hurled it across the room. "Fine. Do whatever the hell you want. Run straight into another mess." His voice was colder than I'd ever heard. "It's none of your business." I forced out a hollow laugh. "Got it." Then I turned away. And this time I didn't just walk, I ran. Out of his room. out of his house. I didn't know why Hyung Wu always kept hurting me like this. If he didn't need a brother, then what did he want from me? Did he love me the way I love him? Once I got home, I slammed the door shut and leaned against it, trying to breathe, but no matter how much air I pulled in, my chest still felt tight. Later, Jisoo called. I didn't even pretend I was okay. He told me Hyung Wu hadn't said a word after I left. He stayed in his room alone, skipped breakfast, then left home without even looking at Jisoo. Somehow, that made it worse. Knowing he shut down completely after I left, it hurt in a way I didn't expect. About half an hour later, Jisoo came to our house, looking more serious than usual. Something was off. I could tell right away. Then he told me he saw someone outside before Hyung Wu left, a tall man in a black mask, just standing by the gate. Not the same one from before. That detail chilled me. The next 2 days felt like a blur. I didn't go out, didn't check my phone. I couldn't bring myself to. Jisoo kept showing up with updates, saying Hyung Wu was working non-stop, pretending everything was fine. But I knew better. That's what he always did. Pretend. I didn't know why I couldn't stop thinking about him. But every hour that passed made the ache in my chest sharper. Then, my phone vibrated. Unknown number. It's me. I froze. My chest tightened. I didn't need a name. I knew. Another message followed. Are you still mad at me? My jaw clenched. Then, save my number. Save as best friend's brother. Haha. What the hell? Then one more. Your earphones are here in my room. I'll throw them if you don't reply. I finally responded. Give it to Jisoo. Angry face. I tossed my phone on the bed and groaned. This guy. He picks a fight and then texts me like nothing happened? That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I told myself I didn't care if he was seeing someone, that it wasn't my business. But still, it felt like he was reaching for me, like he was asking for something, silently. I don't remember when I fell asleep. Somewhere between dreams and reality, I heard a voice. Min-ho. My eyes fluttered open, and then I sat up. Hyung Wu stood near my bed, faintly smiling. I blinked, heart skipping. The clock read 3:30 a.m. What? My voice came out rough with sleep. He didn't answer, just tilted his head toward the window. I followed his gaze. It was open. I'd left it that way because of the heat. Forgot to close it. Why are you here? I whispered. Still, no reply. Just that unreadable, soft smile. He stepped forward and placed a small bag on the bed. A pretty one, wrapped like a gift. Before I could say anything, he turned and walked back to the window. Hyung Wu. But he was already gone. I rushed to the window, but when I looked down, he'd vanished into the night. Had he seriously broken into my room just to drop off a bag? I finally turned back to the bed. I opened the bag slowly. Inside, a neatly folded white t-shirt. On the front, bold black letters. Love. I swallowed. Beneath it, my earphones. And then, a small black box. My fingers hovered over it for a second before I lifted the lid. Inside, a simple silver bangle. Sleek, minimalist. Nothing flashy, but it felt personal. There was a note tucked in. His handwriting was quick, a little messy. Wear this, or throw it away. I don't care. Want to say thanks for being with me that night. I exhaled slowly, chest tight. He would never say this out loud. Not in a million years. But somehow, this said more than words. Then I noticed the tiny PS at the bottom. Don't get serious about the word on the t-shirt. I just grabbed the first one I saw in the shop. I frowned. Damn idiot. I tossed the note onto the bed and grabbed the t-shirt again, running my fingers over the bold black letters. Love. First one he saw in the shop. Yeah, right. I sighed, rubbing my temple. I can't understand this man. Never. And yet, I carefully folded the note again and placed it back inside the box. Then, without thinking, I slipped the bangle onto my wrist. My phone buzzed again. Do you like it? I scoffed. Didn't he just say I could throw it away? I didn't respond. 5 minutes passed. Knock. Knock. Not at the door. At the window. My heart jumped. I turned. There he was, again, standing outside, hands in his pockets. I let out a frustrated breath and opened the window. He climbed in smoothly, like he'd done it 1,000 times. "You didn't reply," he said quietly. I grabbed the nearest pillow and threw it at him. "You broke in at 3 a.m., dropped a mystery bag, jumped out a window, and now you're back because I didn't text you back. Are you insane?" He caught the pillow midair, not flinching. Then, barely audible, he muttered, "It looked good on you." I froze. My eyes flicked to my wrist. I hadn't even realized I was still wearing it. "Idiot," I mumbled, looking away. He didn't argue, just smirked. Then he raised his wrist. The same bangle. "No way." He stepped closer, pressing his wrist against mine. Matching. I stared, speechless. "Why are you doing this?" My voice came out like a breath. He didn't answer at first, just tilted his head slightly, that infuriating smirk tugging at his lips. "I can do whatever I want with things that belong to me." I blinked. "What did you say?" "You heard me," he said quietly. I clenched my fists. "I'm not your thing." He let out a soft laugh, walking toward the window again. Then "Stop acting like one." Before I could say anything, he climbed out again. Gone just like that. But this time, he didn't just leave behind a gift. He left a storm inside me.
It was 11:30 p.m. Hyung Wu lay in his bed, staring up at the ceiling. The only light in the room came from his phone screen. A message from Minho. For the 100th time. "Brother, I can't let you keep doing this. Not anymore." Hyung Wu's thoughts echoed in the silent room. Without a word, he tossed his phone onto the bed, grabbed his jacket, and walked out into the night. And somewhere in that night, he stole something from Minho. Something neither of them could ever take back. That night, Hyun Wu stole it from Minho. It all started with one word: brother. After Hyun Wu broke into Minho's room that day, he acted weirdly normal, like nothing had happened. Days passed. Vacation ended. Minho and Jisoo were busy again with their studies. Nothing strange happened, but Hyun Wu's forced normality grated on Minho's nerves. He knew Hyun Wu kept dropping hints about his feelings, but why couldn't he just say it? Was it because of that black hearts? Minho had had enough. He decided to force Hyun Wu, so he kept calling him brother. It was another quiet evening. Minho sat with Jisoo in the living room in Jisoo's house. From the corner of his eye, Minho saw Hyung Wu walked into the kitchen. Minho took that moment to continue the little mission he had planned. Turning to Jisoo, he spoke thoughtfully. "Sometimes, I feel jealous of you, Jisoo." Jisoo looked at him, eyebrows raised in surprise. "Why?" Minho smiled gently, his gaze drifting toward the kitchen. "Because you have a brother. I always wished I had a brother like Hyung Wu." Jisoo blinked. Minho gave him a quick wink, and Jisoo immediately understood. "Don't be sad. You're my best friend," Jisoo said warmly. "So my brother is literally your brother too." Minho chuckled softly. "Yeah, I already feel like Hyung Wu is my own brother." Just then, a sharp clatter of glass crashing echoed from the kitchen. Moments later, Hyung Wu stormed out of the kitchen, his eyes barely glancing at them as he passed. Then, they heard the heavy thud of his bedroom door. Jisoo and Minho exchanged a look. Mission complete. Hyung Wu was definitely angry. It was already evening when Minho stood in front of the mirror, frowning. He had only planned to step out for some snacks. But yesterday's rain had drenched his laundry completely. One by one, he checked the clothes hanging on the rack. Damp. Still damp. And then, his eyes landed on it. The only dry thing left. A white t-shirt, crisp and soft, with the word love printed boldly across the chest in deep black letters. Hyung Wu's gift. And it was screaming, "I'm in love with you," at full volume. Minho had no other choice. So he wore it. Then, threw a big, oversized hoodie on top. Zipped it up. Tugged the hood a little over his head. Perfect. Hidden. Safe. He stepped out into the cool dusk. But fate had a twisted sense of humor. Because just as Minho turned the corner near the hospital entrance, someone called his name. "Minho." He froze. Hyung Wu stood there, hair slightly messy from a long shift. He blinked slowly, eyes narrowing at Minho. "Is that?" His gaze dropped to the shirt peeking out beneath the hoodie. His eyes locked in on the hem. "The shirt I gave you?" Minho pulled the hoodie tighter around himself like a turtle. "No, it's not." Hyung Wu took a step closer, head tilted. Calm. Calculating. Dangerous. "Take off the hoodie." "Are you crazy?" Minho turned to bolt. But Hyung Wu was faster. His hand reached forward and casually unzipped Minho's hoodie halfway before Minho yelped and slapped his hand away. "What the hell are you doing?" Minho barked, pulling the zipper back up defensively. Hyung Wu just raised an eyebrow. "You're wearing it." "Because all my clothes were wet," Minho muttered. "Excuses." Hyun Wu chuckled. "Shut up." Minho frowned. Hyung Wu's expression didn't change, but his voice dropped low. Firm. "Get in the car." Minho blinked. "What?" Hyung Wu nodded toward the sleek, dark car parked at the curb. "Now. I just came out for chips." Before he could protest any further, Hyung Wu grabbed his wrist and dragged him toward the car, like they were in a heated couple's fight on national TV. "People are looking," Minho muttered. "Let them." Hyun Wu opened the passenger side door and all but pushed Minho inside. And without another word, he got in, started the car, and drove. The car was quiet, but thick with tension. Minho sat there, arms crossed, hoodie zipped all the way to his neck like it was a bulletproof shield. Hyung Wu didn't speak, didn't push, but he kept glancing sideways at him. Finally, at a red light, he reached over slowly and tugged the zipper down just a few inches. "Stop," Minho hissed. "I just want to see it," Hyung Wu said quietly. Then, the car slowed to a stop on the quiet, isolated road, surrounded by trees swaying in the evening breeze. Minho stared out the window, heart pounding. The stupid bold letters on his shirt, "Love," felt like they were glowing now that Hyung Wu had seen them. Hyung Wu turned off the engine and leaned slightly toward him. "Minho." Minho immediately held up a hand. "Don't look at me like that." Hyun Wu smiled and said softly, "You look good in it than I imagined." Minho forced a smile and said, "I forgot to thank you that day. Thanks, brother, for the weird and embarrassing gift." Hyung Wu flinched like he'd been stabbed. He turned to Minho with tired eyes. "Minho, don't call me brother." Minho leaned back in his seat, crossing his arms. "Why not?" Hyung Wu's voice dropped, quiet and sharp. "Because I don't need an idiot like you as my brother." Silence fell like a curtain between them. "Oh, that's it," Minho scoffed, turning away. Hyung Wu reached out and gently turned Minho's face back toward him, forcing him to look into his eyes. "Minho," he whispered, "are you afraid of what you're feeling?" "What?" "I don't feel anything." Minho's words cut through the air like a blade. Hyung Wu froze. Minho gave a crooked smile. "Oh, I get it. You mean our bromance." Hyung Wu's face darkened. "Is this a joke to you?" he asked, voice trembling. "Am I?" Minho looked down. His throat tightened. "I want to go now," he said quietly, reaching for the door. Hyung Wu grabbed his wrist. "Don't hurt me like this," he whispered. Minho didn't answer. He slowly pulled his hand free, opened the door, and ran away. Jisoo's birthday was coming. Minho had been saving for a while, just enough for something decent. He settled on a wallet. Jisoo had complained about his old one for months, but never replaced it. It felt like the kind of gift that would shut him up, at least for a while. Still, Minho's mind kept drifting. To Hyun Wu. Without thinking too hard, he bought a bottle of perfume for Hyun Wu. He wrapped it neatly and slipped a note inside. "For annoying me always. Try not to throw this one away." The hard part was figuring out how to give it to him. Handing it over would be a disaster. Hyun Wu would either stare at it or toss it, just to be difficult. So Minho got sneaky. That afternoon, he stopped by Jisoo's place. Jisoo was in the shower. Hyun Wu, already dressed for his hospital shift, was just about to leave. Minho waited. As soon as the front door clicked shut behind him, Minho moved. He walked into the kitchen, pulled out Hyun Wu's favorite coffee mug, and tucked the box behind it, just out of sight. He'll find it tonight, Minho thought. He always makes coffee before bed. That night, as Minho lay in bed, the glow of his phone screen lit up the dark. It was Hyung Wu. Nice try. Attached was a photo. A perfume bottle sitting at the bottom of the trash bin. Minho sat up in bed, eyebrows knitting together, breath catching in his throat. That bastard. He knew Hyung Wu did it on purpose, just to get a reaction out of him. "Are you serious?" Minho replied. "Did you really think I'd keep a gift from you?" Hyun Wu typed back. Minho scoffed. "Okay, do whatever you want." "I don't care, bro." Hyun Wu's reply came instantly. "Bro." Minho smirked at his phone. Then, another message popped up. "You still think of me as a brother, huh?" Minho chuckled, typing back. "What else? My bestie's brother is my brother. Am I wrong?" Then no reply. Minutes later, there was a knock on the window. Minho turned, startled. It was nearly midnight. Outside, in the dark, stood Hyung Wu, eyes burning. Minho, open up. His voice was sharp. Minho opened the window. Cold air rushed in. So did Hyung Wu. His hair was slightly messy. But his eyes, God, his eyes were burning. Then, without warning, he grabbed Minho's wrist and yanked him close. Say it again, Hyung Wu growled. Minho blinked. Say what? That I'm your brother. Minho smirked, pulling his wrist free. You're acting crazy. Hyung Wu's jaw tightened. You don't get it, do you? Get what? Minho snapped. Hyung Wu exhaled sharply. Fine, I'll show you. Before Minho could react, Hyung Wu pushed him against the wall. His hands gripped Minho's face, his body pressing close. Minho barely had time to process before Hyung Wu's lips crashed onto his. Hyung Wu kissed him. Desperate. Rough. Like he'd been holding it in for years. Minho froze, breath caught in his throat. Then Hyung Wu pulled back just enough to whisper, breath shaking. Now tell me, am I still your brother? Minho couldn't speak. His lips parted, but no sound came. Hyung Wu's gaze searched his. I knew it, he whispered. He kissed him again, softer, slower this time, but still burning. His lips brushed against Minho's jaw and his neck. Minho, he whispered. A shiver ran down Minho's spine. Hyung Wu's fingers tightened around his waist, holding him in place, like he was afraid he'd slip away. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said it. You're mine. In the next second, he kissed him again. When they finally pulled away, breathless, his forehead rested against Minho's. No brothers anymore, he murmured, his thumb brushing against Minho's cheek. He kissed him again, and again, but suddenly, Hyung Wu stepped back, eyes full of something close to pain. Minho, I'm sorry, he whispered, voice cracking. I crossed the line. Then he turned, climbed through the window, and vanished into the night. Minho didn't move. His chest ached with everything left unsaid. Hyun Wu had stolen Minho's first kiss. And without even trying, Hyung Wu had claimed his whole damn heart.